Toronto Raptors, LA Lakers, Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, Denver Nuggets, and now the Boston Celtics. That's 6 different title-winning franchises in 6 seasons. A run of parity that the league has seen only once before, nearly a half-century ago. The days of dynasties may be on hold for now, replaced by a time for a variety of reasons. It's more difficult than usual to get to the NBA mountaintop and stay there. It's the Celtics' turn to try to buck that trend. The NBA doesn't seem to mind. This is the parity era, and the current collective agreement figures to make it even tougher for teams to be dynastic. A swift change from the 4-year run spanning 2015 through 2018 when Cleveland and Golden State got to the finals annually. In simple terms, the more that teams spend, the harder it is now to make moves, especially moves involving big contract players. The latest CBA, which went into effect last year, includes 2 aprons over the luxury tax figure. Go over the first apron, your roster flexibility is hampered. Go over the second one, and it's severely hampered. It could be argued there haven't been rule changes this significant since the league changed the lottery odds and added a play-in tournament to discourage tanking. It recently took Knicks and Wolves several days to complete a deal a couple weeks ago after agreeing on the parameters. Karl-Anthony Towns going to the Knicks, Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo going to the Wolves, because the financial particulars needed to be very precise. Nobody would say all 30 teams enter this season with a realistic title chance. But there are more true hopefuls than there were just a few seasons ago. Last year, 12 teams entered the year with title odds of 25-1 or shorter. 6 years earlier, at the peak of the Warriors-Cavs run, there were only 3 such teams. None of the previous 5 champions, not including the reigning Celtics, even made it back to the finals the following season. That matches the longest such drought in NBA history, last done when the champions from 1973 through 77, New York, Boston, Golden State, Boston again, and then Portland, were all ousted in the conference finals or earlier. I'm not going to say that the Celtics solved modern basketball, but they were the type of team that makes you ask whether such a thing is possible. They started 4 perimeter players who could dribble, pass, and shoot, plus a 7'2" sniper who cast 30-footers. All of those perimeter guys were elite defenders and were comfortable switching up or down. The big sniper doubled as a rim protector who could capably execute multiple defensive coverages, as could his backup, a 5-time All-Star going after his first title in year 17. Boston didn't change the game by going after switchable defenders who can do everything, and they were far from the first team to take advantage of 5-out spacing. Everybody has been trying to build rosters like this for years, including the Celtics themselves, who came up short in the 2022 finals and the 2023 playoffs. With Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis in the picture, they had the league's most stacked starting 5 and the lineup that best exemplified the modern ideal. Everyone's a threat on offense and no one's a liability on defense. Now they're back except for Porzingis, who is recovering from offseason surgery. The Celtics haven't changed much. Jayson Tatum's jumper looks better in the preseason. Baylor Shireman could conceivably crack the rotation. If Boston doesn't repeat, it won't be because its formula is any less powerful, but because its competition is more so. The Sixers got Paul George, the Knicks got Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, the Magic got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and the Bucks and Cavs got healthy. There are a slew of worthy challengers in the West too, including a team in OKC whose roster is constructed similarly. Last year, including the playoffs, the Celtics played 101 games and won 80 of them. They had a plus 11.7 point differential in the regular season, spaced the floor better than anybody ever has, and manipulated matchups on both ends by trying some outright weird stuff. Holiday and Porzingis fit in exactly as anticipated, and they overcame Porzingis' postseason injuries in part because their depth held up better than many expected, albeit mostly against opponents that were shorthanded themselves. Stevens won Executive of the Year, Tatum made the All-NBA First Team, White and Holiday made the All-Defensive Second Team, and Brown won Finals MVP. The Celtics' elite three-point shooting has also been central to their success and identity. Last season, Boston led the league in both three-point frequency and three-pointers made. The Celtics run a five-out style of offense that allows them to dominate the game at a historic level. No team in the league can compete with the Celtics' volume and elite level of shooting. Peculiarly, everyone in the Celtics' top 8 rotation can shoot threes. This five-out spacing, along with open shots that Tatum and Brown generate on drive-in kick plays, makes the Celtics unstoppable. From a statistical perspective, it's hard to pick against the Celtics. The Nuggets had an easy postseason path 2 years ago, beating 3 play-in teams and the overrated Suns. That's a cautionary tale, considering the starless path the Celtics stampeded to the finals. But the Nuggets also lost their key glue guy in Bruce Brown, who's a poor man's Jrue Holiday or Derek White. Brown does all the little things, so the stars don't have to, and Denver missed his versatility last season. The Celtics, by contrast, haven't lost anyone. Denver obviously depended too much on Jokic and Murray. Those two needed to be great every night, and it wore them down. The Celtics, in comparison, are much deeper. They can, and frequently have, won without both of their superstars dominating. Last year's Denver team is cooked in that scenario because Aaron Gordon is a rim runner and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope doesn't scare anyone. Then there are the Bucks. They've always lived on the edge because they're built around a flawed superstar. Giannis can't shoot free throws or threes, and in the playoffs, the Celtics have consistently proven that Milwaukee cannot win by runaway train alone. Furthermore, 2021 was Chris Middleton's last healthy postseason, and the Bucks haven't been able to replicate the dimension he adds to their offense. Perhaps most egregiously, they replaced Jrue Holiday with Damian Lillard, an all-time classic swap of underrated winner with overrated loser, except Lillard's playoff resume speaks for itself. It was a desperation move designed to keep Giannis happy, and it worked, because he signed a 3-year extension a couple of weeks later. The Celtics have zero contract drama because they supermaxed their 2 stars and surrounded them with the perfect complementary pieces. This offseason, Brad Stevens was able to pull off something that rarely happens in any sport. He was able to retain all of the team's rotation players. But Stevens didn't stop there. With the 30th pick in the first round, Stevens selected sharpshooter Baylor Shireman. For some icing on the cake, Stevens rewarded Sam Hauser with a multi-year deal and retained Xavier Tillman and Luke Cornett, solidifying this roster from the top down. With a top-tier GM and head coach, all that's left is the players on the court. And this offseason, Tatum and Brown appear as hungry as ever. While many teams have significant roster upgrades, everything is aligned for the Celtics to repeat as champions. Boston's elite talent, proven track record, dominance, and the history of repeat champions make it challenging to make a case against the Celtics. Overall, as long as the Celtics stay healthy, they should be well positioned to win back-to-back championships.